What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Southern University Quarterback Club podcast, episode 6. It's your boy Al,
It's Catrice.
And your boy BJ Jones.
and look, we got a special episode for tonight. We got some special guests from Off the Record, which is an on-campus podcast. Um, Let everybody know who y'all are today.
Yeah, hey everybody. My name is Eric White. I am a junior. I major in mass communications. I am the sports editor for the Southern Digest, and I also am the founder and creator of Off the Record.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ashley Lovelace. I am a mass comm broadcast journalism student at Southern University, and I am also the EIC of the Southern Digest newspaper for this year. And I'm also Eric's right hand on Off the Record. So happy to be here.
We want to welcome you guys. We appreciate y'all coming on tonight. And we got a jam-packed but concise episode tonight. We'll talk about the previous Jackson State game, preview of the upcoming Alabama A&M game, and then we have a special segment at the end. But first, before we get started, we want to thank our sponsors, the Subway on Harlem Boulevard, for providing food to the Coaches Press Conference yesterday. We appreciate those people for bringing us food and feeding our bellies and stomachs on yesterday.
Perfection. Well, yes, y'all. I just first want to go ahead and get into it, okay? This was our first home game. So how did it feel like being back on the yard, that atmosphere? Can y'all just talk about that energy and everything?
Well, for
I'll go
me,
first.
surprisingly, okay.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, for me, for the first time since I've been on campus, I did not work the home opener, but
Okay.
just being back on the bluff though, it was fun though. I definitely missed the energy. I love when football season come around, so it was definitely good to see that. In terms of the result, that could have been
We're going to
silly,
talk about that.
but we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that.
Opposite of Eric, I had to work the first home game. So, but to be honest, I tell Eric all the time that the press box is the best seat in the house. And I love being able to do what we do and having that aerial view. Of course, the tailgate ahead of time. This time we actually got to report and interview some alumni football players from the 90s. So
Okay.
that was really, really awesome just to hear their perspective and to see how they are looking from their era. Now looking at us there now is like the most nostalgic thing for them, and to see how they just love being a part of it still, and how the legacy has grown there. And for them to be so proud, it makes me proud to know that I come from this rich legacy. It's a lot of fun.
You know who you interviewed?
We talked to Heish Northern. We talked to John Jenkins, and we got to interview also Mark Orlando.
Okay, that's a
Nice.
good company.
That's what's up.
Yeah, it was cool. It was really, really cool. And mind you, I didn't know that Mark Orlando, if y'all don't know, he was the offensive coordinator under Pete Richardson, but he's also HBCU grad. Like
It's crazy.
he went to FAMU. He did some time at Grambling. I said, let me find out Mark Orlando's for the culture. I was excited.
Yes.
Definitely. That's good. That's
I
good.
love that.
That's good that you got to reach back and kind of get that perspective on things. As far as me, it was nice being back on the yard. Living in Houston, man, you got a lot of Texas Southern and Prairie View, and I'm always just trying to explain to people how it's just much different. Is way more lit. The fans are just so involved in the football culture and athletic culture at that. And it was just good to be around, some old classmates, the current students, the tailgate, the music, the food, even talking noise to some of the opposing teams' fans and some of the players' parents. It just
Yes.
it felt good
Yeah.
for swag football to be back on the bluff. Of course, we had the new flashing LED lights, which was real fancy. I wish they could have turned them off and turned the LED lights on more this past game, but
Yeah.
that's a different story. But I felt that atmosphere was electric. At the beginning of the game. We had the flyover with the I don't know what kind of plane it was, but I just say it was a B-2 bomber because that sounds good. But that just got me hyped before the game. With the band and the crowd and just the players coming out the tunnel with the smoke. I mean, I just felt like that was an electric moment this past weekend.
For
Oh
sure.
man, this weekend was oh man, it was amazing. The result of the game, we can talk about that later, but just the
Mm-hmm.
atmosphere, being back on campus, the tailgating, just seeing everyone lively. Um, it was amazing, man. Seeing the new uniforms, man. Oh, they go hard. I didn't know they went hard
You
as
like
they.
them, DJ?
Yeah, they went hard, man, and just honestly, man, just celebrating Coach Pete, celebrating the '03 team, which I'm a part of. Just getting back, celebrating that 20 years was dope. Seeing the guys back and it was just amazing, man. It just lets you know, man, the championship culture and cloth that we're cut from.
For sure. I love all that. Definitely it's nothing like being on the bluff for sure. So, definitely, as we've already mentioned, we definitely wanted a different outcome for sure. So just in terms of going into the game, like what would you say? What would you say? Like, I don't want to say what went wrong, but what do you say you feel like we fell short at that caused the outcome? If y'all just want to hone in on that first.
Eric, I know you got some strong thoughts.
Well, where do I begin at?
Oh Lord.
Well,
Okay.
first off, it's a new year, but same Southern University from last year.
Mm,
What I mean by that, our offense is not consistent. I've been saying that since last year. It's the same reason why we were losing again last year. We'll start off all right. We get in the second half, we fall.
mhm, mhm,
The problem is he's running the same 8 plays. There's no diversity in the playbook. Not to mention, your O line is not holding up. And when they do hold up, we have a quarterback that's not making proper decisions and taking sacks when he could and costing us drives because we are behind the sticks, and that's not winning football. That's not going to win us games. And then we get in the press conference, and it's like you said adjustments were being made. So why are the same mistakes happening every single week?
mm.
I don't understand what is going on. Then, not to mention, to say we have a talented running back room, I don't think we're running the football enough.
Ashley.
Look, because actually I changed the whole gesture. Okay, what
Because
you got to say, Bree?
Good points, by the way, Eric. Good points, by the way.
Woo. Um, Eric just took the words right out of my mouth.
Mm,
I I said this all last season, and people kept saying, Ashley, you got to give Dooley some grace. You got to give
mm,
Coach Dooley some grace. It's his first season. Um, However, first season, but it's not his first season in the position that he's in. It's not his first season coaching into some high level of Division 1 football, SWAC football at that. Um, and with the notoriety of the fact that he coached under Pete Richardson as well, there was just a lot of anticipation coming with
mm,
Coach Dooley, and we didn't have the season that we wanted to have last year
mhm,
due to the lack of adjustments. I feel like that was a lot of pride coming from him. When adjustments were made, it was a little too late. And we're seeing that this same season, just like Eric said. I don't think Harold Blood is a terrible quarterback. I just don't think he's in sync with the offense that we have. However, we do have a depth chart within the QB position, and it's not being used. And
Mm-hmm.
so, how can we? I said this earlier today. Football is a giant puzzle piece. It's a giant puzzle, and you have to get the right pieces in the right places in order to get the pretty picture, right? So, if
Mm-hmm.
somebody is not performing to where they need to be, then you remove them. That doesn't mean that they can't gain that status back, work hard, and get back to that point. But if they're not doing what they need to do to get the end result, you need to adjust. And he's not adjusting. We had two quarterbacks that didn't really get too much play in the spring game. However, their pass percentage rate in the spring game was at least 75% or better. In the past two games, Harold Blood is sitting at a 58%. He threw for 46, only made 27. He was readable. He had way too much time in the pocket. There's no reason why you got 7 seconds in the pocket, you still holding on to the rock. Like there's certain things fundamentally that I don't think are necessarily being instilled into our players. That to me is not that's not all players. That I'm gonna start looking at coaching at this point because we're seeing the same patterns.
Correct.
Man, y'all,
Yes, y'all not playing.
y'all, y'all hit some points. Y'all hit some points, man. And I'll start with quarterback play since I played a little bit quarterback back in my day. I think
Okay.
what Harold Blood was 26 or 46 or something like that.
Mhm.
Whatever it was an improvement from Bama State.
It
I
was.
think you said he threw for 58%. However, we were behind the whole game, so of course Jackson State corners are going to play off, and we probably gonna get those rinky dink 5 yard passes. However, he did make a few mistakes, staying in the pocket too long, not throwing to the open man. And one thing, I was in the end zone when he threw that interception down there, and from the snap of the ball, I'm figuring this he's finna throw it in 3 seconds, which he didn't. He threw it like on the 6 second, and the safety who made the interception ran his eyes the whole time. Number one, the ball had too much air, and number two, he threw the ball too late. So I guess when Ashley say he's not in sync with the offense, I think that's one of the points, or one of the points he should be able to improve in these coming weeks is making timely throws and not late throws, which puts you in a vulnerable position. Which we're about to score, I think, tie the game up and keep the momentum on our side. I watched a few plays. I didn't see much help from the offensive line. I saw a ton of missed blocks, which is why I think we can't run the ball. I saw some Olays, you know how they running with the Bulls. I saw a lot of that from the offensive line. Um, and then
Matador.
play, yeah, just play calling in general. And then we've lately been having a stout defense. We gave up some big plays that ended up in scoring
Mm-hmm.
plays. Um, I think one was like two plays after a play that we scored on the little end around that Jackson State ran, and then I think Rico Powers scored on like a 70 or 80 yard pass. Um,
He's a problem. Rico is a
Yeah,
problem.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
I
he
Rico is
is.
a
watched that the whole game.
problem.
He is.
He's a problem.
So if we can manage to tighten up a little bit up front, our front seven, control that line. Um, honestly, the shortest defensive lineman, Willie Miles, I think is one of our best defensive tackles. I think he gets the most push out of any other defensive tackles at this point. But I think for next week, we need to focus on working on the small things, getting pressure, and moving that offensive lineman out the way and just getting leverage on them so that we are able to fight off these offensive tackles and get to the running back. Um, yeah, that's about it for me. BJ, what you got?
Um, I think everyone's frustrated. I think if we lose to Jackson State 37-34, we're having a completely different conversation. And I think a lot of fans from talking to people, because Lord knows y'all hit me up. It seems like this is a continuation of last year. That 2023 is wrapped in 2022's clothing. And one of the things that people were excited about when once Coach Dooley came in was having an explosive offense. So far, we have not seen that. And I've questioned some things offensively. One of the things that I've questioned is some of these plays are long developing. Like these are some long routes that are being ran. It's like it's home run, it's feast or famine. And then one of the things that Southern University, for the better part of the last decade, was known for having one of the toughest offensive lines, the best offensive line units, not only in the conference, but we're talking about in the FCS. And I'm gonna be honest with you, um, that ain't the case anymore. Um, the nickel ain't there anymore. What we used to call the offense. It ain't. It's not there anymore. So I think there's frustration there because you have to be able to run the football to keep defenses honest. And so far that's been ineffective. Defensively, we've played good. We haven't played great. We've played good.
Mhm.
Um, but we've done enough defensively to win a ball game, to win both ball games, honestly. But the biggest thing I tell anyone, RELAX, relax. All right. We're sitting here at it's what September the 13th, the 12th, was
Mhm.
13th, 12th. One of those dates. The season is still young. All right.
Mhm.
This thing can get better. All right. This thing can get better because everything is still ahead of the team, or it can get a heck of a lot worse. All right. So let's just sit back and see how it plays out. I can't. I tend to try to stay kind of reserved until it gets to the point where it's a heck of a lot worse.
Mhm.
And then things are quite evident. I like to see things play out before I just jump out there. So the good thing about last week's is over. And
Mhm.
Saturday we own Alabama A&M in conference play.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
For sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
I
yeah.
think the one common thing we talked about was offensive line play. I just
Mhm.
looked up a stat and we gave up 7 sacks this past weekend. 7. So um championship teams can't be built on having 7 sacks in one game. So I
Yeah.
think if you buckle up on the offensive line, it'll help blood out to build that confidence, having that time. Hopefully, get rid of the ball
Mhm.
sooner, and it just make the whole offense run better when you run the ball good too. So
Yeah. And so that I know this has been like a conversation that a lot of people have either been talking about. We need a new coach or try another quarterback or whatnot. But you also just made mention about how the way if the offensive lineman can lock in, that could help him out. So do y'all think it's time to try out another one, considering we have five on there? Or are y'all thinking like just keep allowing blood to play and give them another try and see how the way it goes?
Adjustments are always key. There's no point in having a depth chart if you're not going to use it. I look at it like if you recruit players to play a position and choose not to play them, why are we wasting their time? Not everybody's going to have the best game every game. Sometimes you have an off game. It happens. Every player has it.
Right.
But if you
Mhm.
can swap out a D lineman, if you can swap out an O lineman just because they get tired, right? And I feel like that's what we saw a lot within these last two games. We wore our defense out. They got tired. It's what
Mhm.
happens.
Absolutely.
Series after series, you're
Mhm.
going in and in and in and in and in because your offensive line isn't capitalizing on what your defense is doing. You rotate linemen so they don't get overly tired. So why would you not rotate a quarterback if he's not holding up his end of the bargain? And we've seen this with Coach Dooley last season. We saw it. He would not make the adjustments when needed, and he's doing the same thing.
Mhm.
That's textbook definition of insanity. So if you're going to keep doing the same thing over and over and over again and expect a different result, I don't care how much faith you got. We could be the team of faith all day, every day. I love the Lord, praise Him, hallelujah. However,
Mhm.
if we are faith without works is dead. So we're not going to capitalize on what we're actually doing and be smart about it, then we're setting our team up for success. It's going to end up killing our team's morale. And then we're expecting the team to then pick themselves up and pull them out and like, okay, it's a new game, it's a new day. Alabama A&M, let's forget about these last two games. It's a new time, right? But nothing
Mhm.
else is changing outside of our opponent. We
Mhm.
can't keep doing that. And Dooley can't clearly keep doing it by himself. I want to see an offensive coordinator. It is what it
Mhm.
is.
Right.
He needs an extra set of eyes.
Yeah. Well, for me, don't get me wrong, the offensive line will really help a lot of things. That has definitely been our weakness this year. I can easily say that. But for me, it's like, so, Julie, if you know this, what change are you making around that? You have been late with adjustments, and that has been killing us in games. The reality is, in 2 games, your offense averages 12 points. Something got to change. Whether a different scheme, something you got to find a way to get the ball out quicker or something. Because if you keep on making the same mistakes, like I said, that is just stubborn and that is delusional. And if you're going to be delusional in a leadership position, then how long are you going to get away with that before change is needed?
Yeah, I'm not really on the changing quarterbacks right now. However, I do know we have some bullets in the chamber that may hit if we do decide to change. Uh, I am in agreement though with adding the OC to the staff,
Mhm.
and that extra set of eyes just goes a long way. Like, what's the
Mhm.
saying? Work smarter, not harder. Um, and
That part.
you can definitely coach somebody up, train somebody up to call plays. Like it won't hurt because you'll always be the head coach and you can always somehow override what they're doing, and you can even you know if they calling plays wrong, you the head coach, you can tell them to go in a different direction or do two coaches in agreement on what's the game plan that can work together. It's all about working together. So I think that OC would be definitely do wonders for us. So
Yeah.
but I mean that change won't happen this season, obviously. So we're probably gonna go with what we have and try to push forward. I'm kind of like BJ at this point. I'm not panicking this early. At the end of the day, we are 0-0 in SWAC. So like Coach Dooley said
Mhm.
in the press conference, I think the other day, don't give up on us.
Right.
Uh, keep coming out and supporting us at the games. Keep cheering us on, and hopefully we get to the promised land by the
Yeah,
grace.
By the grace of God.
Yeah.
Amen.
It's Jesus and his 12 disciples.
oh man, I mean, I'll say this, man. We how can I follow up with that? How can I follow that? Um, Look, I can tell that you guys are frustrated, and much Jaguar Nation is. And I try to be the voice of reason. I try to
Mhm.
be the voice of reason. And being a former student athlete, I try to be the voice of the student athlete. And my message to everyone, man, is that hey, man, keep supporting, right? Um, we have home games, coming up. Yeah, the home game coming up on Saturday, which means
Mhm.
there gonna be kids on campus.
Yes.
That's gonna be looking at Southern University. Create the environment that kids want to play in. And that's one thing I tell people, man. When you turn your back on your program, you turn your back on the kids that's already there. Imagine how
Mhm.
that makes them feel, and the kids that's coming in. Hey, why would I want to come here? And this place is 60%, empty. So you gotta kind of keep that, first in mind, man. Keep grinding, and I promise you, man. when you're there in the tough times, it makes those good times when we hoisting those trophies even sweeter. Because those times are coming. So like I said, we in early September. Just relax now. If this goes bad, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Um,
For sure.
Anybody know you? Hey, I'll keep it a buck. But like right now, let's hang in there. And like in the Harold Blood, I don't think that he's doing a bad job from a
Yep,
quarterback position. I
exactly.
think what it looks like going back and looking at the film is, are we asking him to do something that he's not comfortable doing? Is that a case where we may be forcing someone to fit into a box instead of catering that box to him? So I think that's a legitimate question that's out there.
It's a very good question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
No,
once
I
again,
feel.
that's
Oh,
adjustments.
good. Mm-hmm.
That's adjustments. Are they being made? Those are things we gotta look at. Who's making the adjustments for that to be a
Mm-hmm.
thing?
Yep. And then that's where the OC would come in and say, "Hey, coach,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't
uh,
got one though.
The mother said I
We ain't got one though,
asked.
and we not getting one this season. So
Not this season. So we're
yeah,
gonna we're gonna have to hope that the Lord be the mind for him. And that the other coaches see some stuff as well, and point it out. And definitely I'm glad, BJ, that you mentioned about creating that atmosphere and still just, remaining positive and cheering the team on. We had Jalen on here last week and he talked about how important, how exciting it is to play on the in front of us, and then the crowd and just being amped and stuff of that nature. So it all plays a part. We definitely got to stay positive for them and keep supporting. And y'all kind of have already talked about it, but if each one just want to say what you are feeling like we do need to see, to get our first victory, this Saturday.
um, I think honestly, I really just want to see some good old fashioned, fundamentally played football. Like I've said it 1,000 times in the press box. Like, let the boys play. Like, let them play. I just think that we get so caught up in the optics and the anticipation of the game and the IG videos and the promotional materials and the lights. They're nice, but lights ain't winning games. I just really want to see a team that I know is great and has the potential to be great, and we have the talent to be great, to really hone in and lock in. There are a lot of times where I watching them and even being on the field sometimes and taking pictures and seeing things where a play will go bad and you see the teams get mad at one another. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, you can't be like that mid game. It's on to the next play. Like you still got 4 quarters to play, whistle to whistle. I just want to see consistency. I want to see fire from beginning to end. And I just want to see smart choices. Like smart, smart
Mm-hmm.
choices.
For sure.
Well, for me, I would say that for us to get our first victory, we need to be. I just want to make sure that we are fundamentally sound. Like we can't be having doing dumb things that make us that shoots ourselves in the foot.
Mhm.
Southern is deeply talented, and if we're doing penalties, if we're hurting our team by our actions that we do after plays, that's not going to help us win. You got to play 60 minutes of football. That's all you get. But
Hmm.
make sure that those 60 minutes of your best effort and everything do not take a play off because that one play can just come back to bite you.
I would like to see, like Ashley said, some good old fashioned football.
Hmm.
What that consists of is running the ball, uh,
Mhm.
5, 6, 7, 8 yards a chunk, big run plays, a couple screens here and there, um, and then maybe hit them deep with a bomb or two. We tried to hit them deep with a bomb or two last week and the week before, but we overthrew and missed. So I think that's
Mhm.
something we do need to work on right there. Those big plays that we have been missing on, but for the most part, I would like to see some progress in the run game, which means we need progress on the offensive line. And I think that'll do wonders for us and definitely help us put more points on the board.
Absolutely.
And I'll say this, man. I want to see the team be a little bit more aggressive.
Mhm.
Everybody mentioned, the amount of times that we threw the ball, but I'm gonna tell you this: anyone that played this game will tell you running the ball is an attitude more so than it is anything else. It is an attitude, and you have to have that attitude that you just want to ram the ball down someone's throat, and we don't seem to have that. Um, and I want to see us get back, to that, being that physical football team.
Mhm.
So, and also, I think we got in the last two games, we got 7 turnovers combined.
Hmm.
We haven't forced a turnover yet. That's a recipe for a disaster.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Turn the ball over. Someone just mentioned arm tackling. Tackling is an attitude. Being aggressive, it's an attitude. There's a lot of diving at feet, diving and being physical. Like I said, it's an attitude. It's a mentality. And we got to get back to that. So hopefully that picks up, and we see that on Saturday.
For sure. Well, I'm gonna claim that, y'all. Okay, we're gonna get this victory. All right, y'all.
Man,
They gonna make these adjustments, these changes. They gonna bring that tenacity, that attitude, and I hope that they know that, like, yeah, they got this. So they gotta remain confident as well too, and believe in themselves as well. So
for sure, for
we're gonna
sure.
claim this victory.
Let's go.
Now, Al, I know you mentioned a special segment. Okay, what you got for us?
Uh, let's talk about Alabama A&M real quick. Alabama A&M is comes in 1-1, and then their first loss was against Vanderbilt, 47-13, and then last week they beat Lane 51-13. Um, the lead rusher in that game was Ryan Morrow, who had 18 carries for 191 yards and 3 touchdowns. So, with that being said, I expect A&M to try to run the ball, as they probably have seen the defense could be vulnerable at times at running the ball. Then we had the quarterback Xavier Langford, who was 15 of 19 for 131 yards with 2 touchdowns and an interception. Looks like he was just trying to kind of Ricky dinking the ball down the field. So I'm I'm not really concerned with the quarterback play for my A&M, but I would like to see the defense get started on that run game going into next week. So BJ, you
Yeah,
had anything on A&M?
the biggest thing about them is that, man, they're improved so far. They rely on that running game. They're going to run it at you. They're not going to ask Xavier Langford to do a lot offensively. As far as him dropping back and throwing the ball, everything's with them starts off the run, and they work play action off of that. Defensively, they can be had. Secondary, not stellar. Defensive line, not stellar. But where they are stellar at, the linebacker position. They got two of them that can go. They are very nice. Um, so I mean, we're going to have some opportunities offensively in this ball game. Defensively, man, we gotta be able to stop the run. Got to be able to stop the run because they're going to run it. I'm not sure if Eagles going to be back for this ball game, but Morrow can carry it just as well. So it's going to be interesting. It's been a long time since we lost to Alabama A&M. I think it's been about a decade. It's been over a decade. And that's something that we want to see continue. So hopefully, man, we can get this win Saturday night at home.
Yeah, I think we would probably need to be prepared for some trick plays too, knowing how Maynard does. So.
Look, Maynard was already barking at us, so
Oh,
which was disrespectful. Like I don't know, maybe it's just me, but like if I was playing, which I wish I could, but I can't. But if I was playing, like, that's the type of stuff that gets me hyped. Like, okay, talk your stuff because now like you just lit a fire under me. Like now I now have to shut you up.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm gonna do that. You know what I mean? Like that's the type of energy that I want to see from our Jags. Like, don't let somebody come to your house, talk mess all week, and run
Mhm.
amok on you. Absolutely not. Like, it's protect the bluff at all times. Like, I
Oh,
just want to see them energy from the gate because yes, Alabama A&M is definitely a beatable team, but I think sometimes where we get tripped up is we underestimate our opponent, and sometimes we
mhm.
think depending on who our opponent is, we don't need to come out hitting from the gate the way we do. Like I feel like we came out last game against Jackson State because it's Jackson State. That's our rival. No, we need to have that same energy for Alabama
Yeah,
A&M. Like no mercy.
every
No
single
mercy.
week. Ash, I'm happy you bring that up because Southern has won the last six matchups against Alabama A&M. For us to get a win, I mean, like you said, they are very much a beatable team, but they cannot be overlooked. I mean, this was the same team in the third quarter. They was only down by 9 against the SEC team. Granted, a weak SEC team, but nevertheless, it's an SEC team. That's not bad. So I definitely would love just to see something come out physical, like aggressive, like this our house, and show some pride on that field.
Yeah.
Good points from everybody. But I mean, we go pray. We put it all together this weekend, and hopefully we come out with the dub this weekend.
Go Jags.
Go Jags.
Okay.
For this next segment, we're gonna talk about a specific article that was a opinionated article that was written in the Southern Digest called "Roman Banks: Why Renewing His Contract at Southern University Raises Concerns." Written by yours truly, Miss Ashley Lovely. Did I say it right?
Lovelace. Lovelace.
Lovely. So, Ashley, can you tell the people about this article? What's it about, and where did it come from? And we'll go from there.
Okay, so in every column, for more or less than we have news articles, but we also have the option to write commentary. This was a sports commentary piece. It was an opinion piece, and Eric is our sports editor. We have certain topics that our editors will bring up, and the topic that he brought up was the potential of non-renewal of Roman Banks' contract. Now, um, let me be clear. His contract has not been discussed, nor has it been terminated. Okay. But it is up for renewal come January. So it could go either way. Right.
Mhm.
But being a student on Southern's campus and realizing that a lot of our student athletes, they're under contract. When they like things or if they don't like things, they're not at liberty to talk about it. Um, at least on the record. They're not allowed to talk about it. But of course, everybody has their opinions. I've talked to so many alumni in my time at Southern and things that people like, don't like, what they like about leadership, what they don't like about leadership. And there's very much a toss up when it comes to talking about Roman Banks and his inconsistencies. Um, I think Roman Banks is a great person. But as just because you're a great person doesn't necessarily mean that you are equipped for a role. And just because I am a student, that does not mean that I can't be critical of leadership. From a student's perspective, I'm looking at what my fellow JAGs, my fellow students, classmates are going through as athletes when it comes to subpar facilities, when it comes to not that much of a scholarships across the board. Um, of course, as a HBCU, we're already vastly underfunded.
Mhm.
And to use the money that we do have when we do get it. It's being dispersed in places. Once again, I'm not sitting behind a seat. I can only have an opinion off of what I see and what's presented, right? We spent $1.2 million on a track, okay, to have one track meet in April of last year. And it's not even a full track. It's a track, but there's no long jump area. There's no high jump area. There's no, like, we spent $1.2 million on a partial facility that can't even take care of our track team, all for everybody just to say, we want track to come back to the Bluff. We want this. But if you want it to come back to the Bluff and you want it to be proper, why not do it solely the right way? The LED lights are beautiful, right? They're wonderful. However, we have students that are student athletes that have dedicated their collegiate career to making sure that a SU name stays great and in everybody's mouths. However, we got people that don't have scholarships. These are the things that I look at. If you're an AD, I understand that there's a business that goes behind things that I'll never understand as a student. But if I'm looking at for the betterment of me and my tuition dollars, make sure that you have a nice home and that you can provide for your family, right? Why not be critical of somebody that's not consistent in ensuring that our legacy is upheld, that our facilities are top tier? Like when we go out and recruit, what are we actually offering our students as a whole? Like, are we selling them a pipe dream? Are we selling them photo shoots with rented cars and the optics? And is that what we're selling? Or are we selling an actual winning legacy that they should be proud to be a part of and add to? Are we selling compensation for them to actually have scholarships that can take care of their tuition? Because only 1.3% of athletes that choose to go pro actually make it there. So that means at least 98 point something students go professional in a different field. So what are we actually pouring into these students that pour their collegiate career into our institution? What are we giving back to them? And I don't think necessarily that Mr. Banks has that at the forefront of his mind all the time, at least from what I see. Now, I could be completely wrong, but from what has been presented and what is public knowledge, he's not doing it. Thank you. So the LED lights were donated. Thank you so much.
That was
Thank you so much. But once again, we got lights donated, right? They're a great addition. But we have locker rooms that look crazy. We got batting cages for the baseball team that's sitting under an underpass, and as they're at practice, they got snakes walking across their legs. Like the facilities are not up to par. And the thing is that because I understand that student athletes can't speak on these things, I'm gonna give you my opinion because I'm not held by a contract, and the things need to be talked about. Like it just, we need to do better. We need to do better. And it's more than just begging alumni for dollars, because alumni cannot fix everything. We can't wait on them. We can't say, okay, well, you're the alum, so keep pouring into this organization. Yes, keep pouring into this program, keep supporting. Yes, but we can't solely lean on alumni. And that's what we've been doing for a good portion of the time here. It's always like, what's the alumni doing? What's the alumni doing? We get donated funds. We have people that pour, and we have SU Give Day. Like there are ways for us to get funds, but how is that money actually getting allocated? Are there smart decisions being made? Like there's so many questions that I have. And I would love the opportunity to sit down with Mr. Banks and really get an in-depth conversation. We tried to all last year. He was unavailable. So you write the opinion and you put it out there. My intention is to never make anybody feel like they are less than or they can't do a job or they're a terrible person. Personally, I thought my article was very nice. Is I didn't dig as deep as probably as I may want to have, but it's not about a bashing thing. Whether if it was Roman Banks in that seat or if it was somebody else that sat in the AD seat, I'd be just as critical. And I think it's wild to think that people think that students can't have the right to have that opinion. I think that's wild to me. But as long as I am a journalist, when I said I wanted to get into this field and I wanted to write, I wanted to make sure that my platform was used to also be the voice for other people that are voiceless in a sense. Um, and that's no lies. That's no exaggerations. You just report on what you see. And I always say, if you didn't do it right, it wouldn't rustle some feathers. And this has rustled some feathers. Um, I just hope that some change comes from it. I understand that the locker room upgrades are already in the works, but as students, that's that's all we ever hear. So I just feel that Roman Banks needs to do a better job at being transparent in what his plans are. And I think that he needs to do a better job at being forthright when it comes to his student athletes and the student body as a whole. So if you don't want a negative opinion from a student, be forthright.
And I think a lot of people share that sentiments where they want the athletic department to be transparent and tell the alumni like what's our money being spent on. You said we had give day, like we want to know where our money's going into. Like um, an example with the batting cages, like this for a Division 1 program, a batting cage should be in that type of condition. Our athletes definitely deserve better, especially with the history and the history that the baseball team even brings to Southern University with all 100+ draft picks, over 30 something SWAC championships. Like a program of that standard should not be in that type of condition. Um, so yeah, bringing those things to light and just being transparent with an alumni is definitely something a lot of people show discouragement in, based on the alumni.
And I will say this, man. Transparency is big. We talk about we reach out to alumni. One of the frustrations that I have as an alumni that gives and being around a group of guys that give is oftentimes we have no idea how close we are to the goal or how far away we are from said goal. All we know is we gave something a month or two away, and we're still in the the giving mode. And there are no updates or anything. That becomes frustrating. Um, so when you're not transparent, you leave things up for interpretation, and people are going to interpret those things based on what they see, and what they see may not be favorable to the person that sits in the athletic director's chair. But there's one way that you can avoid that, and that's by being transparent, letting people know what's going on. This is a state of athletics, and we're not talking about doing something once a year. We're talking about doing something quarterly if you need to do so. Southern University has some of the most loyal fans and alumni, and I want to throw our fans in there too because you have some of our biggest fans that have never attended a class at Southern University.
Hmm.
So I think that it is extremely, extremely short-sighted to not address those fans and alumni, particularly when we're asking for them to open their checkbooks and then not give an update on how much has been collected and how close we are to goal. And that's just one of many things that I could bellyache about that we honestly don't have time for tonight.
Yeah. I just like I said, I, I think Roman Banks as a person is great. Um,
Cool dude.
but
Who
but the
do?
inconsistencies in leadership are alarming. He's had some great points during his tenure so far. You know, he's got some championships under his belt. He has improved a portion of GPAs for the athletes. We've seen that improvement there. But once again, it's the inconsistencies for me, and I just want to see something different. I want to see some changes. I want to see better for my classmates because they deserve better. They
Mhm.
work hard, just like you go anywhere else. They work hard. They deserve to be taken care of, and I just don't think that the students are at the forefront of his mind as often as they should be.
Yeah, I think one of the big things was the locker room campaign,
Mhm.
and I think we've lost some recruits in recent due to us not having those up to date standard locker room. So moving
We
forward, I
we
think
have we have. You gotta think. I'll tell you, we have. It's something that's been communicated. And it's been communicated with a sense of urgency. Um, so we'll see what happens.
I pray so because I want better.
Yeah.
And I know we're capable of better. But like I said, if it wasn't Roman Banks, it would be somebody else. And if they were being inconsistent, the critiques would
Mhm.
still be there. It's not a personal jab, but there's so many things that I feel like he could be doing. Um, for me to be at Southern for the length of time, I don't ever think that I've actually seen Roman Banks in person. Like I haven't seen him at a football game yet. I have yet to see him when we had like I didn't even see him at convocation when I got to Southern. Like I saw everybody else in leadership. Like if I didn't see pictures of Roman Banks, I wouldn't know what he looked like.
I think he probably chooses what games to go to. He definitely was at this past week's game,
Yeah.
and I'm I don't know if I saw him at Alabama State. He was there. He was at Jackson State on the sideline for sure. So
Yeah, I if it wasn't for a photo, I wouldn't know what the man looks like. But I just think that there's more he could do. There's definitely more he could do. There's more he could advocate for. Um, and there's more that he could be transparent about advocating for so that we are all as students in the know. Oftentimes I find myself finding out things from alumni that I didn't even know were happening at the school that I attend. How is that crazy? That's crazy. I got alumni telling me about the school that I'm currently enrolled in classes for. That's wild to me. That's crazy to me. Like, and I understand we communicate with stakeholders and things like that because they're the ones with the pockets. But they're for the it's for the student. I'm just lost, y'all. I'm sorry. I really am. We have what the TJ Ribs thing on Wednesdays or Tuesdays. We got a whole football show at a restaurant off campus. We had Tamia come down for the gala so we can do a line dance with her. The aesthetics are nice, but are they necessary? Like, do we have more important issues to handle than not?
right,
There's no reason we should be losing recruits because of a locker room.
right.
That's a problem.
Hopefully, we made money off the Tamaya Gala, so that we can actually help put into our athletic program. So
Okay, so I just want better for my Jags. That's all. That's where I'm coming from. That's it. That's all. That's my story. I'm sticking to
Eric,
it.
Eric, you got anything?
Well, for one, I am the editor, so of course I did. I know Ashley told me about the story, and I'm going to always back my writer 100%. I'm never going to go against them because at the end of the day, they have an opinion. That's all this all is. This is how she saw things. This is how she believes. None of us said we know what Roman Bates is doing behind that, but this is what we see. Only thing we're doing as journalists is reporting on what we see and what we feel. Now, however you choose to react to it, that is on that person at that time. That's all. That's all the article was. So if we seen, if we actually heard, at least we didn't heard alumni say this has been issues for years. Only what's going off of is what we've been told. We're
Right.
reporters. Our voice. It's in our right. First Amendment. We're allowed to freedom of speech. That's all we're doing.
Right. Good points. Good points. Man, we've had a lot of engagement tonight, especially in these comments. Uh, if if y'all got any quick questions, just put them in the comments right quick.
I mean, a shout out to you guys. I'm looking at it now. This has been our highest rated show to date.
Oh wow.
So to say that your article has really ignited some people and started some conversation would be an understatement. So congratulations to both of you for putting that out there um, and getting kind of get some conversation started and hopefully what this will lead to is it lead to some transparency. Maybe you'll get that opportunity to sit down with Roman Banks and get some of those questions answered. He has an open invitation to come here with us. Us three, Al, and we'll enjoy to have him here. I just think that anytime when you sit in that position and Jaguar Nation can hear from you, the better, the better.
Now, Ashley, you said you have an interview with Roman Banks coming up.
We're supposed to be speaking with him tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to it. I want to hear his perspective on things. I want to hear what his plans are. I want to see the vision behind the man. Um, and I want to hear about it. I'm all like, when it comes to journalism, I'm fair. So if you are now giving us the seat, we're going to sit in it and we're going to have a real conversation. We don't shy away from good or bad. I feel like knowledge is knowledge. And when it's put out there, it's there to help somebody. So if that's what he's willing to sit down and do, I'm all here for it. I can't wait to talk to Mr.
Mhm.
Banks. I've been waiting for it for over a year. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
Will y'all be filming it, or will it be on social media or something, or is this private conversation?
This will be a private conversation because it's going in print.
Right.
So,
Mm.
to my knowledge, he wants to have an interview to clear up some of the concerns from the opinion article. And I say it's an opinions article. Let me make this very clear because when people see an article in the newspaper, they're like, oh my gosh, it's news. You need to fact check it. No, you have news articles and you have opinions. An opinion is just that. Now, if you want to sit down and have a conversation and have a rebuttal, which is what we're planning to do tomorrow, that's exactly what we're gonna do. You now have the floor. Now let's clear your name. All I'm saying is I'm glad that my little article, and I say little because that's what it was. My 500 word 4 paragraph article. If this is something that is going to spark change and for the better, I'm all here for it. I'm all here for it. I will continue to use my voice to do just that because people need that. We need that. As a student body, we need that. Not everybody has the platform to speak on the hard things, the difficult things. And a lot of people refuse to speak on those things for fear of retaliation. My mother never raised a scared individual. So
There you go.
it just is what it is. What comes from it is what comes from it. But I hope and I pray that everything great can come from this, change can come from this, and we can start seeing the transparency from him and anybody else in leadership at Southern that needs to start showing transparency for that matter. Like, we deserve it as students. You don't want the negative comments? You're more than welcome to come sit down in the Office of Student Media. We'll be happy to talk to you.
Right. Well, look, We over an hour. We've been on here. Look, just tell everybody your social media where they can find you. I know a lot of people have read your article, but they might want to connect with you on social media or whatnot. So just plug yourselves in and go from there.
Well, for all the alumni on the call, if you're not following the student media Instagram page, Southern underscore OSM, please follow and support us. My Instagram is my name. It's Ashley underscore Lovelace 619. You're more than welcome to reach out with any questions. I'm an open book.
Um, for my Instagram, it is Big E underscore Legend. You can find me at, and I'm always available to talk about anything.
Say it one more time. Biggie, what?
Big E underscore Legend.
Oh, Al, it's the underscores in the middle between my name.
Okay.
It's Ashley underscore Lovelace 619.
619. Where you from,
That's my
Ashley?
birthday. That's my
Oh, okay.
birthday.
Where
I'm
you
from
from
Jersey.
originally?
I'm from Jersey. I am a Jersey girl to the core. I'm a Northeastern girl, proudly.
Where you from, Eric?
I am from Donaldsonville, Louisiana.
Okay.
Shout out to Tramel.
Yeah.
Not Tramel.
No, leave it from
Chris. Chris
leave it
is.
from down
Yeah,
there, man.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are you on Twitter, Ashley or Eric?
I am
Uh,
on Twitter. I am on Twitter, but I'm not really on Twitter.
Okay.
If you
I
try to
am.
contact me on Twitter, you will not find me.
Yeah, I'm a pretty vacant soul on Twitter. I've been take Twitter in I don't know how many years.
Okay.
I am on
Um.
Facebook though. You can find me on Facebook. Facebook,
Yeah.
Instagram, you can find me for sure.
Okay. Well, we definitely appreciate. Do y'all listen to the local sports talk show that dedicated to SU HBCU? A question from Troy Franklin says, "Do y'all listen to local sports Southern HBCUs?" I've heard AD Banks interviewed on different occasions.
We do, but it's primarily more so for research for our opponents.
Yeah.
So not the lifestyle shows, but more so like statistics and things of that
Yeah.
nature.
Right.
Okay. Well, look, we might need to do a follow up episode after this interview tomorrow. So,
Yeah.
but we do appreciate y'all coming on. It was a very engaging conversation. It looks like the people who are watching enjoyed it, and they definitely enjoyed your article. If you haven't read the article yet, you can go to southerndigest.com and look in the sports section. It should be the first article in the sports section.
Or you can just
Uh,
type in my first and last name in the search bar. It'll come up.
right. Okay. What time? What time is the interview and where? It's a private interview, so.
Like
It
y'all
is a
can't
private
show
interview.
up. They ain't selling tickets.
We're not selling tickets, y'all. It's
Right.
literally anytime we do an
Right.
interview for an article, we just meet with whoever is administration that we need to ask the questions with. And then the newspaper that the article will be in will drop at 11 a.m. on Tuesday. The articles will be available digitally at the same time as well.
That is great. We will definitely be on the lookout. Definitely share that article on our platform. Like I said, I appreciate y'all coming on tonight. Eric, Ashley, you have been wonderful and great.
It's the comments.
Can y'all
It's the
see?
comments. I'm cracking up. No, I don't need security. I'm okay. I will be just fine.
If y'all saw me laughing tonight, it was because of the comments. So
Oh my
I'm weak.
god.
I'm
look,
weak.
make sure
Yeah, the
y'all
comment
like.
section's off the chain.
Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe to the stream. Follow us on our channel on YouTube, SU Quarterback Club Podcast, on Instagram, SUQB Club Podcast, on Facebook, Southern University Quarterback Club Podcast, and on Twitter, Southern University Quarterback Club Podcast. Make sure you also following the Office of Student Media on Instagram at Southern_OSM. Make sure you follow Eric, Big E _legend, and Miss Ashley Lovelace at Ashley_Lovelace 619. And once again, make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe this. Once again, this is episode 6. Make sure y'all on the lookout for future episodes. We should be back here same time next week. I don't know if we got a game or not next week, but we'll figure it out.
Go to
Yeah,
Arkansas Pine Bluff next week.
next week.
Mhm.
God, we gotta go to
Yeah,
Arkansas.
yeah,
Okay.
UAPB.
Well, we'll see y'all next week then. This Al signing out. Catrice, BJ, Ashley, Eric. Go Jags. See y'all next week.
Go Jags.
Go
All
Jags.
right,
Thanks,
bye-bye.
y'all.
Bye.